Published 2041 Est, the 25th of November 2017. Updated 2131 Est, the 25th of November 2017. Sofina Nikat suffocated her 15-month-old daughter Sanaya, threw her body into a Melbourne creek, then accused an imaginary barefoot African of murder. On Thursday, the 24-year-old was sentenced to a 12-month community correction order by Victorian Supreme Court Judge Lex Lasry. The same day, in New South Wales, a 27-year-old woman faced judgment for drowning her evil 2-year-old daughter in the bath of their Sydney home. In that case, Acting Justice Peter Hidden found the perpetrator not guilty of murder by reason of mental illness. Both women killed their toddlers. Neither will serve any further prison time. Sofina Nikat suffocated her daughter Sanaya and dumped her body in a Melbourne lake. Sofina Nikat, who suffocated her daughter Sanaya, leaves the Supreme Court of Victoria. Sofina Nikat, pictured with toddler Sanaya, claimed a barefoot African man killed her daughter. Nikat had already spent 529 days in custody, but her sentence outraged some relatives, including Zahra Sahib, the dead girl's aunt. "Our stupid law disappointed us again," Ms. Sahib posted on Facebook. "She got away with the crime. She got away with killing her blood and flesh. She is gonna live her life while we all still have remorse for the rest of our lives. Lost all hope in our Australian law. But I guess it's over. Just praying this never happens to anyone." However, this has happened before and will no doubt happen again. Both NSW and Victoria have infanticide laws which create a separate homicide offence for killing children aged under 12 months and 2 years respectively. For infanticide to be accepted as a crime, the offender has to prove depression. The maximum penalty in Victoria is 5 years, while in NSW it is 25, the same as manslaughter. The woman who drowned her 2-year-old, neither can be named, immersed her daughter in a bath during a psychotic episode in September 2016. Zahra Sahib was outraged that the killer of her niece will not serve any more jail time. Sofina Nikat will not serve any more time in prison over the death of her toddler Sanaya. Acting Justice Hidden, who tried the woman without a jury, concluded on Thursday she was not guilty of murder. The mother had been admitted to hospital after she crashed her car near Katoomba, in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney. She was found sitting in the middle of the road clutching a Bible. Justice Hidden heard the woman, then 27, asked police if they believed in God and told hospital staff her child was in the care of her grandfather. The girl was found dead in the woman's home 2 days later. The woman told police she drowned the girl to get rid of the evil in her, according to the Daily Telegraph. She believed the child was in heaven. The effect of what she recounted was that she was engaged in a deranged form of exorcism, at the expense of the child's life, Acting Justice Hidden found. The woman told a psychiatrist she was deeply remorseful. The psychiatrist noted the woman was upset and cannot believe that she killed her child. This young mother, who cannot be identified, admitted to police she drowned her daughter, the mother of a 2-year-old who was found dead in a bath in the family's Sydney home. The 2-year-old girl who was found dead in the bath of her mother's Western Sydney home. Acting Justice Hidden ordered the woman be detained in a correctional facility, or a place determined by the Mental Health Review Tribunal, and released only if deemed safe to do so. In Melbourne, Nikat had pleaded guilty to infanticide over the April 2016 death of daughter Sanaya Sahib and spent nearly a year and a half on remand, in what Justice Lasry deemed an unusual circumstance. Nikat was on Thursday told she would serve no more jail time. Nikat, who believed her daughter was possessed, initially told police her child had been kidnapped by a barefoot African man who smelled heavily of alcohol. She later admitted she had made up the story because she was scared. Nikat also thought Sanaya was possessed. The court heard Nikat was mentally ill and needed treatment. The mother was seen on CCTV pushing her toddler to a park at Heidelberg West where she suffocated the girl on April 9 last year. Sofina Nikat, Center who killed her daughter Sanaya, leaves the Supreme Court of Victoria. Sofina Nikat Center suffocated her daughter Sanaya and pleaded guilty to infanticide. Sofina Nikat is shown taking her daughter Sanaya to a Melbourne creek in a pram in 2016. The Fijian-born woman was originally charged with murder, but prosecutors accepted Nikat had been suffering from a depressive illness and downgraded her charge to infanticide. Justice Lasry said Nikat's lies after killing Sanaya were a sign of shame, rather than a lack of remorse. Justice Lasry dealt with another case of infanticide earlier this year. In May, Akon Gwode was sentenced to a total 26 years and 6 months in jail for killing 3 of her children and attempting to kill a 4th when she drove them into a Melbourne lake. The 37-year-old had pleaded guilty in the Victorian Supreme Court to the murders of 4-year-old twins Hanger and Maddit and the infanticide of her boy Bol, 17 months, in April 2015. She also pleaded guilty to the attempted murder of daughter Alul, 5, who survived being pulled from the water. Akon Gwode, who killed 3 of her children, arrives at the Supreme Court of Victoria. 1-year-old boy Bull was killed by his mother Akon Gwode in Melbourne in April 2015. Just 12 months of Gwode's minimum 20-year sentence was for Bull's infanticide. Justice Lasry found Gwode, who escaped the South Sudanese civil war, suffered from post-traumatic stress and depression. As in other similar cases, this case tests the sympathy and compassion of the community, Justice Lasry said. In March 2014, a mother who killed her baby girl and seriously injured the 2-month-old's twin sister walked free from a Melbourne court. The 29-year-old, who was in the grip of postnatal depression, told police she would go into a daze when she attacked the girls after their birth in February 2012. She admitted it was possible she shook them too hard but could not recall how often. The twin who survived suffered permanent brain damage and cannot walk or talk. The woman pleaded guilty in the Victorian Supreme Court to 1 count of infanticide and 1 of recklessly causing serious injury. Justice Bernard Bongiorno sentenced the mother to a 1-year community service order, saying no judicial punishment would be as severe as having to live with what she had done. 4-year-old Matt Left and his twin sister Hanger were killed by their mother Akon Gwode in Melbourne in April 2015. Police tape off a street where a 2-year-old girl was found drowned in a bath by her mother in August this year. A Queensland mother escaped jail time after being convicted of assaulting her baby daughter by cutting off the infant's air supply, in what a judge nonetheless described as an attack on a defenseless victim. A Brisbane Supreme Court jury had found Ashley Megan Watterson not guilty of attempted murder, as well as grievous bodily harm, but convicted her of assaulting 4-month-old Sarah in October 2010, the Brisbane Times reported. Sarah died in March 2012 from unknown causes that were not part of the allegations against 30-year-old Watterson. Justice Martin Burns sentenced her to 2 years jail, which he suspended for 5 years. This was an attack on a defenseless victim in your sole care and clearly constituted a gross breach of trust, Justice Burns said. In December 2004, Victorian woman Leanne Otsoparty received an 18-month community-based order after pleading guilty to infanticide. Otsoparty's 5-week-old daughter Hayley was found in the bathtub of her family home in July the previous year. The 31-year-old mother originally told her then-husband an intruder had tied her up and drowned the baby, but she later told police she had suffered postnatal depression since Hayley's birth. Ashley Watterson was found not guilty of the attempted murder of her baby daughter Sarah. Sofina Nikat was sentenced to time already served for killing her daughter Sanaya in Victoria. Forensic police at the house where a 27-year-old mother drowned her 2-year-old girl Otsoparty said she had not meant to harm Hayley and wanted only to give her a bit of a fright. I just could not stand her crying and crying, Otsoparty said. In sparing Otsoparty prison, Justice Murray Kellum told her you were suffering a postnatal condition which affected the balance of your mind to the extent that you could not, in justice, be convicted of the crime of murder. In April, a mother whose 8-week-old daughter died in her and the girl's father's care escaped jail after pleading guilty to manslaughter in a Queensland court. Michelle Catherine Lees, 26, was described by a judge as profoundly remorseful and had not put a foot wrong since her daughter's death. According to the ABC, the Supreme Court in Brisbane heard Leesk's daughter Lily had screamed in the care of her father in April 2012. Leesk noticed the girl crying in pain and was talked out of taking her to the hospital. The child's condition deteriorated over the coming week and she died on May 8. Prosecutor David Meredith had told the court the child suffered skull fractures, brain injuries, broken ribs and a twisted arm. Leesk, who cooperated with police, did not cause the injuries but pleaded guilty to manslaughter for not obtaining medical attention for Lily when it was required. Justice Burns, who also sentenced Watterson, found a custodial sentence would hinder Leesk's rehabilitation. Michelle Leesk, 26, pleaded guilty to her daughter's manslaughter and did not go to prison. Police at the home of a young mother who drowned her 2-year-old girl in Western Sydney. A teddy bear left outside the home where a mother, 27, drowned her 2-year-old daughter in September. Daily Mail Australia revealed a South Australian woman who bashed her 8-month-old daughter with a kitchen utensil walked free from court with a good behavior bond. Lorian Norman, 26, pleaded guilty to causing harm with intent after beating her toddler daughter with a slotted spoon. Although the offense carried a maximum sentence of 13 years, Norman did not spend a day behind bars. District Court Judge Jack Costello found the baby's injuries were likely to resolve and place Norman on a 2-year good behavior bond. Judge Costello told Norman if she followed community corrections orders and did not re-offend in any way for 2 years she would not spend the minimum non-parole period of 10 months behind bars. The court had heard Norman threatened to throw her daughter Evie off a balcony in Adelaide in October last year. A pediatrician found the toddler had at least 8 separate blows to the face and body, with bruising on her forehead, cheeks, ears, neck and arm caused by a slotted spoon and a hand. Evie's father, Shane McMahon, said the sentence was beyond belief. Lori Norman bashed her 8-month-old daughter with a kitchen utensil and walked free. 8-month-old Evie was bashed by her mother Lori Norman, 26, with a slotted spoon in May this year. A mentally ill mother from NSW who believed her baby girl had dwarfism and left her to drown in a bathtub was placed on a 4-year good behavior bond. The 41-year-old, who cannot be named, had pleaded not guilty to murder on the grounds she was suffering from a mental illness but guilty to manslaughter. The baby girl was found floating face down in a bathtub in a home in North Strathfield in November 2010. The woman told hospital staff, "Every time I look at her, she looks like a dwarf. It's affecting my bonding with her, and everyone in the family, including my husband, thinks I'm crazy." Justice Robert Beach Jones could not find the woman had planned to kill the child. The significant mental illness suffered before, during and after the offense permeates every aspect of these proceedings, he said. Readers seeking support and information about suicide prevention can contact Lifeline on 131114 or the Suicide Callback Service on 1-300-659-467.